As child psychiatrists, we often have people in our community asking us, what do teens need? People from politicians to teachers to parents. And we're not exactly sure what kids need. And that's where this project came from.
So what better way to find out what teens think about mental health in their state and community, but to ask them?
The pandemic drastically changed the way that kids talk about mental health because, first of all, it's a collective trauma.
I think that there's a lot of misconceptions, I guess, on how teens are struggling, because I know personally a lot of adults that in my life just kind of feel like it's more like a being lazy thing.
I think people are just there for the attendance, but trying to do schoolwork is, I feel like, the hardest thing.
I think that it's definitely brought people together. More people talk about mental health. More people talk about, hey, how are you doing today?
I think it's important to realize that everyone's going through something and normalize that so you don't feel so alone.
But I think that it's opened youth up a little bit to talk about their feelings because everyone has the same feelings, so it's easier to connect and empathize with other people.
We kind of block ourselves with the normal everyday tasks that we have. And when we don't have those normal everyday tasks, that's when we really notice our mental health.
When they listen to teens, they're not just listening to the kid themselves, but they're listening to their entire network and the network of that kid.
People stand up for what they want, for sure, especially teens.
With mental illness, it's not a trend to have depression. It's not a trend to have anxiety.
This is important and this is necessary just as much as having water fountains are at school.
The current laws that are being talked about are going to affect me directly, and I'm going to have to grow up with that.
I would say that high school kids nowadays feel significantly more comfortable talking about mental health than they did even 5 years ago.
I feel like everybody has some struggles in their life that they feel almost embarrassed to talk about. So I like to talk about my mental and physical health because I felt so alone at the beginning and I don't want other people to feel that alone.
I feel like we need more of a support system and a support team.
Not everyone has good health insurance. So Colorado kids with multi-disabilities will need the support as well as easy access.
Making healthcare accessible for everyone, because not everyone gets the privilege of having a therapist like me.
I've heard this incentives discussed in Colorado before that would bring behavioral health care providers into the state because of how low the behavioral health care wage is here.
These are our kids and we're losing them, and if we don't talk about it, then I don't think that we're going to get anywhere.